everyone, Coffee and Colouring here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I use my Crayola Supertips in these colour by number books. I did get a request to do this video and I'll put it up on the screen who requested it, so thank you so much for requesting this video because I feel like a lot of other people might want to see it, and I just am so excited at the idea of working in these colour by number books on video for you guys. I was even thinking of doing some speed colorings if you're interested in that. I'm going to be showing you some techniques that I used to get a super smooth finish with just Crayola Supertips. So here's an example. This is all Crayola Supertips, and then the black outline is a Posca pen. And I think it is pretty smooth. The paper did tear a little bit on this darker shade here, but I'm not the only one that's had the issue of just not liking the streakiness of when other people have used Crayola Supertips. You can see in my first picture here, that's kind of what other people's works can look like when they use Crayola Supertips. It's just like how the markers are. But yeah, I just kind of experimented in this book. Oh, that's a sneak peek of my finished colored pages for July. But yeah, the background has a Crayola Supertips base and then Prismacolors over the top because I just couldn't get that super smooth. But all of Peter Pan is Crayola Supertips again. So I really like this method for when I just want to quickly just shade in these pictures, because obviously if I do it as a base and then go over with the pencil it takes a lot longer. But my favorite technique is probably combining the two and doing the Crayola Supertips base and then Prismacolors over the top, because the Prismacolors kind of get rid of all these dark lines and just make the piece really pop, like this one. So yeah, that's kind of the different ways that you can use it, but I'm going to be showing you how I get my smooth finish with just Crayola Supertips in this video. And then I'll probably do a lot of this piece in the Crayola Supertips, but then off camera you'll probably see this in my finished pages with Prismacolor pencils over the top, because like I've said, I've just really been loving that. So we're going to be doing one from the Le Grand Classics Tome 8, and we're doing this one from Lady and the Tramp. I've zoomed you in so I can just show you on a smaller section, which will be her collar. So you want to make sure you have as accurate of the colors that it has at the bottom to put, because a lot of issues I have is when I end up not doing the colors exactly, or I do too many layers so it darkens my Crayola Supertip, and then that's when I fix it, usually with Prismacolor pencils. So something that's more easy is like these little sections here, because you can just do it in like one stroke and it's fine, it's really smooth. And also some Crayola Supertips are more smooth than others, like the yellow is quite easy to get smooth. So yeah, those little sections. Okay, and then everything that's meant to be yellow on the collar, there's a couple different ways you can do it. So maybe it's a bit harder in a smaller area, but I kind of just, instead of just doing the individual strokes, you kind of do that but in a fast motion, and that's how I get my smooth finish. It's by going like this, and you do want to keep it in the same direction because that really helps. I will be showing you on bigger sections too, so yeah. Okay, this one's easy again because it's just this little bit here. Little sections are very, very easy. So sometimes I have like a guideline to separate the two colors first, and then go like that. That's the biggest part to this, to getting it really smooth. I did go over the yellow, but I'm not too fussed because like I said, I will be going over in Prismacolor pencils. Okay, so now for her face, which obviously has bigger sections. So I'm just going to look at my reference quickly so I don't put the colors in the wrong spot. Okay, so I'm going to be doing some of these browns, the dark shade here and the lighter shade on her face. And I already tested which Crayola Supertips I would like to use on this piece of paper to make sure I have accurate colors. So it is handy to just keep a piece of paper nearby. Let's see, so D and A. Okay, so the D is the dark shadows, so I do usually like to start with the darker colors, and I kind of just outline it all first so I don't forget where it's meant to be, and yeah, that way it's just already laid out for you. And then sections like this where, sorry you can't see, is all meant to be dark, I just as I go do some of it. Like this bit is really easy. So yeah, and what you can do is you can do the like that streaky method, which looks pretty good actually, and then once it dries and everything, you can then go over it with a second layer, doing it in the fast motion. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at explaining things, but yeah, it will give you the exact same results, but instead of doing the individual strokes, I just find it quicker and easier maybe to just go over and see how this looks pretty light, and you can kind of see the white showing through. When that happens, then yeah, I just go over it again, and you'll be surprised at how much the paper holds up. It actually does really, really well. And then down here, and if I do go at the lines like I did just there, and I strictly want to keep it Crayola Supertips, I'll just extend the line a little bit. And yeah, that's what I do with my outline in the Posca pen too. If I just accidentally go at the lines, I just thicken up the line. And there's a little section there. Alright, so now we're going to be doing bigger sections, which is the lighter shade of her face. So I'm just going to adjust my camera. So we're going to be doing the A section with the lighter shade, and I think the best way to show you guys how I do it is just to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. But again, the main thing is just in a faster motion, because it just smooths out the lines as you're going with this marker. So I just start where I need to start and go like that, and as you see, there's some gaps which I just go over. See how smooth is that? And you just continue it down. So yes, there's going to be some line art that is a bit harder, I guess, to work around, but you just have to keep the same direction and just continuously keep going. And because while the mark is wet and not dry as well, it just keeps it very, very smooth. So yeah, and as you see, it does sometimes look a bit streaky in some areas, but honestly, I think it's a huge difference from like my first picture with the Hercules in it. I'm just gonna go over this dark section again, like that. So how I went over that dark section to darken it up again and put that second layer, when I go over with Prismacolor pencils, it is a lot more relaxing in the sense that you don't have to make the colors super accurate when you do the base. Like, I could have even made her face a different shade of brown and not as close to the one that tells me it is, because when I go over with the Prismacolor, you then choose the accurate color with the Prismacolor, because the base is just so the white doesn't show through, because that tends to happen when you just use the pencils in this book. So it actually does make a difference by having a base. You just got to have a base brown if it's brown, a base blue if it's blue. Obviously her color's blue, you're not going to put red and then color blue with your Prismacolor. So it's just, yeah, so the white paper doesn't really show through and it looks very vibrant and nice when it's finished. Little section there. Yeah, I'm not too sure what else to say because that's basically all I do. The smaller the section, the easier. And the bigger the section, I have done whole backgrounds doing this before, and it is a lot harder to keep it super smooth. But the best thing I find with doing backgrounds is maybe like, because you're not going to color side to side from here, right? Because it's too far of a distance and it's just going to be really hard to keep smooth and neat. So I kind of, with backgrounds, would color here and do it in sections. So you might see some lines, but then usually when it dries, I go over the background again, which can tear your paper a little bit, but you'll be surprised, like I said, at how well these Crayola Supertips can layer without the paper tearing. And that did happen on my Audrey picture a fair bit, the tearing, but you really can't notice it and it didn't lift the color or anything. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. I'll see if I have an example. So this one with Princess Belle, the whole background is just Crayola Supertips. So I remember doing this section and just doing the same technique I've been doing and then going over it. I think I actually went over this 3 times, which really helped smooth it out. And same with these bigger sections, these little white circles I did leave and not go over with the blue, but I did add white Posca pen to get those to fix the outline, I guess, because I did go over a little bit with the blue. But yeah, I would like avoid that when doing the blue and do it in sections. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I'm so sorry. So down here as well has those same colors that I've been using. So I just gonna go in with the dark, outline where it's meant to be. Oops, continues. Then our lighter shade. So when it's really close to where the border is, I like to just do a line where it is. Just to hopefully keep things between the lines. So I will start from here, just continue my way down. See, I'll show you on a bigger section, like how I just did that there. You do want to work kind of fast while it's still wet. I find it's the best way. But like I said, you could even do the individual strokes. And then go over it. which I probably didn't need to do because this is a lighter shade. Those strokes did blend pretty well before I just did that. Okay, so now we're going to work on a big section like her ear. So I'm just going to zoom these out. Okay, so the dark sections is number 1, and then E is the light shade. Sorry, I'm not talking much. I just think the best way to show you guys what I do is to show you. So I hope you don't mind. So we're going to do the same with the dark, obviously, but I want to show you this big section. So I'm grabbing my lighter shade and I've outlined where the dark is so I know not to go in there. And again, I like to start usually from like the top of the section, and we're going to try our best to go side to side and do it right from where the black outline is to the dark outline. So sometimes you want to go like that and then go from the other side. Because it's such a big section, it is going to be pretty hard to go all the way across. If you can go all the way across, it will definitely help make it look more smooth. See, these darker sections are where it's overlapped. And also with the Crayola Supertip, you want to try and make the thick lines with it slanted, because you can use the point, but it's going to be a really thin line and it's going to be almost impossible to keep that smooth. So you want to get thick lines. I'm going out of the lines a lot in this video, so I am sorry. It is really annoying me, but I know that I'll be fixing it with my Prismacolors as well, so. Now, like I've said, well, I think I said this with the background, but the bigger the section, the harder it's going to be to keep that smooth look. But what I have done in the past is, see how this does look really streaky? When it dries, you can do another layer, and it does definitely smooth it out. But if this is your accurate color, this is where the problem comes in, because the more layers you put, the darker this color is going to be. So it might not be as accurate. Which you can mix the Crayola Supertips with your pencils to fix it. I just wanted to show you, for those of you who want to do a Crayola Supertips piece, and that's it as your only medium. So you'll just start from the top again and go over it that second time. And I don't know if you noticed, but it did blend it out a little bit. but that is not a good example. It does look pretty streaky still. But with some colors, I think it does work a little bit better, and depending on that initial base layer. But yeah, sections like her other ear will be a bit easier because it is smaller. So I'll show you that. I'll put the dark color in first. And then and depending what you use to outline the black, I have noticed that the Crayola Supertips, if you go over it, like the yellows, especially really light colors, it can mix with whatever you ended up using for the black and muddy up the marker. So you gotta be really careful with that. Okay, so nice, easy little section over there. And unlike this ear that I did kind of rush through, it is obviously better to take your time and just slowly go down the bit that you're coloring. See, there we go. Now, in some cases, obviously it depends on your coloring and sometimes the color of the markers of how good this will work, this technique. But like I said, I'll show you again. Here's the before for me with how I colored with these and how streaky it can look to this. So I know you may be able to see a little bit of streakiness still, but it is definitely an improvement with how smooth it is. I'll show you with this ear too, going over it a second time, because it will probably look better than this side, because it's easier to do, so may as well. And if you do decide to put a second layer, you want to go over everything you did in that color, so then everything matches. Still going at the lines, so I apologize for that. Really dark here, but it really smoothed out like this bit that I colored really well. So that's what I do, and that is all there is to it. I will be finishing this off camera and going over all of this with my Prismacolors, like I've said. Another thing is, when I know I am for sure going over in Prismacolors, I don't even mind if you do the individual strokes, but the smoother you make it, then the smoother the Prismacolors are going to look. Because as you see where there's some streaks here, it will smooth it out a lot when I use the Prismacolors, but you'll see the Prismacolor that's over this section will look a bit lighter over here and a little darker here. Like, you'll still see it a tiny little bit, but it's hardly noticeable, so I really don't mind. I just love the finished product. Even these bits, I go a different direction sometimes when I'm using Prismacolors. I think if you want to do this Crayola Super Tip technique, you have to really be patient with it, choose accurate colors, and the bigger the section, the harder it will be. But like I said, to me, it's an improvement to what it could have been. This section is a really bad example of that. I guess that can be the before and this kind of the after. There will be some fails like that. I have experienced it a fair bit, if you couldn't tell. Usually the lighter the color, the easier it is to do it, because you won't really see the streaks anyway. Like with the Hercules, if you saw in his hair, you couldn't see streaks because it was a really light shade. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it did help you guys understand how I color these, because I did try and explain it, and that's when this video got requested. Yeah, I am kind of horrible at explaining things, but yeah, I just hope that shows you the basics of how I did do my other pieces. And there will be some wins and some fails along the way, especially if you're trying this out for the first time. So don't be so hard on yourself. I know I'd be hard on myself sometimes, but yeah, I'm really excited to hear if this video has helped you guys. So let me know in the comments below. And also let me know in the comments if you would be interested in me doing some speed colorings, because I was thinking of filming the whole thing, from doing the outline to doing a base of super tips, and then if I decide to do like the pencils over the top. I just think it would be really satisfying, relaxing, and fun to watch. So let me know if you're interested in that. Maybe it can be an ongoing theme of me choosing a random page to do for my speed coloring videos. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!